Stucia from JTA Innovations here, and we're going to expand a little bit on what is provided in the PDF manual on our website. We're going to go over the kit contents of the JTA Innovations airframes and a little bit of extra info as well. I've already got the airframe out of the box and most of the equipment organized so far, but I'll backtrack a little bit to go over everything. Here we have the extra JD 32-inch wingspan. One thing to note before we get started is that all of our current lineup as of July 2021, this applies to it. There are a few small changes in carbon lengths, but all that will be addressed in the manual. For the most part, the things we'll be going over in this video, you probably won't even need to look at the manual initially for this stage anyways. So let's get into it. I have the airframe on some wax paper here. Wax paper or parchment paper is a good idea because especially with the slices through the foam that the factory has provided us, some glue can seep through a little bit, and you don't want to glue your airframe to the table that you're using, so this avoids that. Motor mount, elevator control horn. Notice the slice in the bottom where the flat carbon fiber of the elevator will slide through. Rudder control horn and the two aileron control horns with the adjustable holes. We've got the two landing gear reinforcements, the guides for the linkages labeled elevator and rudder. The longest piece will go closest to the servo. Aileron servo arm, you'll notice that the geometry is a bit different than the elevator and rudder servo arms. And finally, this is to help mount the ESC if you so choose to use that. It mounts on one side of the fuse, Velcro through the holes, ESC on the other side. There are photos in the manual to show that. Most of our flat carbon is already laid out. I just took probably 60 to 90 seconds and sized them all up. We all have the slices through the foam here already, so you just need to size them up and make sure that they fit well. And but we do have a couple additional parts here. The longer the two of the additional parts that we have left over, the longer the two will go on the bottom part of the fuse in the landing gear area to help keep the fuselage straight in that area. The shorter piece is, I guess you could call it tail piece, not tail wheel, but serves the same purpose. We have a sheet of 3mm EPP with our landing gear, not the landing gear itself, but mostly to add visual scale, as you will, to the airplane. Same with the wheel pants, not necessary, but definitely look better in my opinion. And some foam wheel collars to help with wheel pant mounting and tire security. Get some questions on these quite a bit, mostly due to the fact that the inside side force generators, that's what these are usually different shaped for some of the airframes. Not all, but some are shaped a little bit different than this. And basically, that's just what it is. But at the same time, they're kind of necessary to help with the carbon rods that come from the fuse to the tip of the wing. And you can slice those in half and use the bottom half for support, or keep them intact and use the top as well. Exterior side force generators, definitely optional and personal preference. Heat shrink for linkages. People have their different methods, but provided here is heat shrink. Here's one of two landing gear pieces. Small piece of Velcro, really for whatever you want to use it for, but it's designed to go through the ESC mounting plate. Some zip ties for mounting batteries, ESCs, receivers. In this small pack we have our mini easy connectors, the gold pieces, Z-bends, and the links that will go through the mini EZs, as well as some wheel collars, prop bands, our pack of carbon rods all cut to length, some diagrams and photos shown in the manual, but honestly it's definitely personal preference. depending on how hard you plan to fly the airplane and how comfortable you feel on building it, but the more the better as far as anti-twist and durability go. However, 3 of the carbon rods that you must use are the elevator rudder and aileron linkages. 2 of the 3 are obviously rudder and elevator, and you probably don't want to cut those at all. The 3rd one is for the aileron, and you want to cut that to length based on your aileron linkage setup. Lastly, we have some pieces of EPP here. These are for a building stand, storage stand, whatever you choose to use it for. Some assembled photos of the stand are in the manual. We just get a couple questions about it, so I figured I'd clear it up. Coming towards the end of this video here, mostly covered everything regarding the kit contents, but since we have all the flat carbon laid out, I thought I'd go over it a little bit, just basically because it's one of the more addressed contents of the kit. So as mentioned previously, I just took a couple minutes to size them all up. The foam is cut through already, so once you hold up, you find a piece of flat carbon. I could tell already that this is for the wing due to the size of it. So I just matched it up here with the edge of the slot on one side and the edge of the slot on the other side, and sure enough, it matched right up. And did the same thing for all the other flat pieces. Only took about 60 seconds. They're all pre-cut. I didn't do any of the cutting. And for the ailerons even, you have 2 here that are pre-cut so that the other one will slide in between them. In an additional video later on, we'll show the actual installation process of it. But one trick that I think speeds it up a little bit and probably even keeps the build lighter is using CA for the flat carbon. One thing that not a lot of people know is that you don't have to use foam safe CA on EPP. I usually use a medium CA just as I would on a giant scale airplane or any balsa airplane, for example. So that's what I use for the flat carbon. You can still use the building adhesive that we provide or another contact-like adhesive, but if you're looking to speed up the build process, maybe keep it a little lighter, then flat carbon plus CA is the way to go. But I would not use CA on your carbon rods. Just a little too brittle for that. So a contact adhesive, like the building adhesive that we provide, a foam tack, a welder's, something along those lines will work for your carbon rods. So that pretty much covers the kit contents. Look for some other videos in the future, but hopefully this video even clears up some questions that you may have had. And as always, if not, feel free to reach out, jtainnovations@gmail.com. We've got a contact form on the website, or you can just punch that email address in. Facebook Messenger, it's going to be spotty. That one's a little harder to keep up with, so definitely email is the way to go. So thanks for watching this video, and look for some more in the future.